Let's do the very difficult challenge of booking an entertaining Jinder Mahal return to WWE. The timeline starts on the SmackDown after Bad Blood. AJ Styles kicks off the show. His return doesn't get promoted, he just appears in the ring to start off SmackDown. He doesn't even need an entrance if you don't want to give him one. AJ Styles is in the middle of the ring with a mic in his hand. Styles says that he came back to WWE much sooner than he originally wanted to. He says he wasn't even supposed to be at SmackDown until a few days before the show. Styles says he very badly needed a platform like Friday Night SmackDown to let the world know what's been going on in his life. Styles reveals to the audience that for the past 2 months, he's feared for his and his family's safety. He's received calls to his house, DMs on social media, and letters in his mailbox for the past 2 months from an anonymous source. He says he alerted police of the harassment the morning of Friday Night SmackDown, but these types of things are hard to track down and they're investigating it currently. Styles, being the man that he is, thought that he would be able to take care of it somehow within these past 2 months, but he hasn't gotten to. He talks about the impact this has had on his kids and the rest of his family. Styles talks about the mental toll this has taken on him, especially as he's been struggling to deal with whether or not he should end his pro wrestling career after his I Quit match with Cody Rhodes at Clash at the Castle. Styles finishes by saying that the police understand the kind of profession he's in, but they still inform him not to try and interfere with the investigation. A defiant AJ Styles exclaims that he can't simply do nothing while this person plots their next scare tactic, or while this person plots their first physical encounter with AJ Styles and or his family. October 11th, Friday Night SmackDown. On the next episode of SmackDown, Styles brings a new letter from the anonymous harasser to SmackDown. He's running all around the locker rooms and showing it to people. Styles is going around asking his peers whether they have any idea who they think this could be just based on the content of the letter. It's a typed out letter, no magazine clippings or anything like that. Styles goes to Nick Aldis, and of course Aldis hasn't been there long enough to even make a guess. His next guess is LA Knight. Styles and Knight have an intense stare down about it because LA Knight went as far as to go to AJ's house, so in AJ's eyes, Knight is capable of anything. But Knight says that if he wanted to do something about AJ Styles, that he'd do it in his face, no matter where Styles was in the world, and Knight did exactly that when he went to AJ's house. LA wouldn't settle a problem with someone anonymously. After asking a whole bunch of people, including a funny moment with Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens is a funny guy, AJ Styles gets to Shinsuke Nakamura. Styles tells Shinsuke that, of course, they've never really seen eye to eye after WrestleMania 34, but this has become a problem that's bigger than work, so he's hoping Shinsuke could at least try to help him out. Shinsuke has a really good idea of who this is. He says that he's only ever heard 1 or 2 people write or talk like that. Shinsuke agreed with Styles that threats being made in the letter were frightening to read and that no one should go through that. Styles then asked Shinsuke who Shinsuke thought it was. Shinsuke said he doesn't know for sure, so he doesn't want to make someone look bad. When Styles tells Shinsuke that Styles will keep Shinsuke anonymous when Styles confronts this person or when he tells the police who it could be, Shinsuke has a very disinterested look on his face. Shinsuke follows the modern creative trend in WWE of whispering something in someone's ear on camera and walking away. Shinsuke walked away very fast. This was an odd encounter to say the least. As Shinsuke walks away for a bit after whispering something, Styles simply yells Shinsuke at the top of his lungs, and Shinsuke runs from Styles when Styles turns to chase him. It's a pretty funny moment. And Shinsuke's always been kind of an oddball, so who knows why he's acting. October 18th, Friday Night SmackDown. Styles is in the middle of the ring with a microphone. Styles has nothing to hide. He is not afraid of Shinsuke Nakamura. Styles has no shame in telling the world what Shinsuke whispered in his ear the previous week. Styles says Shinsuke whispered into his ear the words, "I am not a snitch." After a rant, Styles implores Shinsuke to come to the ring, and he actually does come to the ring. Shinsuke, in his own Shinsuke Nakamura way, says that Styles misunderstood him. Shinsuke says he was telling the complete truth when he said he doesn't know for a fact who has been harassing the Styles family for months while Styles has been away from TV. When Shinsuke told Styles that he wasn't a snitch, he meant that he wouldn't want to make anyone look bad by even suggesting it could be somebody. Shinsuke even says that he was saving himself from a lawsuit because he knew he could have been on television at the time of his encounter with Styles the previous week. Nakamura was looking out for himself in his eyes. Shinsuke re-emphasizes that he has no idea who would go through such lengths to make Styles' life terrible at this point in his career. But Shinsuke also doesn't care enough about Styles to give him the satisfaction of saying the name he thought it could be when he first read the letter. Shinsuke also tells Styles one more time that it is definitely not him who is sending this hate. Styles tells Shinsuke that if he ever finds points out that he was the one doing this, he would stop at nothing to make sure that Shinsuke is not a WWE superstar anymore, whether it be by injury or by making Shinsuke's life a living hell at work. Whoa. Styles tells Shinsuke that Shinsuke would have to be crazy or heartless not to help Styles out in any way he can, even despite their differences in the past. Just to get under his skin, and in an attempt to get the last laugh, and in an attempt of not being intimidated by AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura tells AJ Styles that he is not a snitch. Shinsuke knows he's not a snitch, he just knows this will piss Styles off. Styles is threatening Shinsuke, and Shinsuke doesn't like it. This is still 2024 AJ Styles, so right after Shinsuke says this, Styles sucker punches Shinsuke and leaves the ring. October 25th, Friday Night SmackDown. The following week, Shinsuke Nakamura finds AJ Styles at his car and mauls him. Shinsuke is yelling things to AJ while he's doing this. Shinsuke is telling Styles that this is what crazy and heartless looks like. Shinsuke is telling Styles that Styles has been embarrassing him the past few weeks for doing nothing, and this is AJ's punishment for that. Shinsuke stomps away at Styles while repeating the phrase, "I did nothing, I did nothing, I did nothing." Later on in the show, it's announced that Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles will have a no-holds-barred match at Crown Jewel. Styles avoids serious injury and does an interview from the medical room. Styles says he's realized that the phone calls he's been receiving for the past few weeks have been Morse code dials. The reason he didn't know this before is because Styles is a man's man in his eyes, and he wants to solve his problems on his own. He wants to solve his own problems for his family. They've been revealing a message, and he has no idea what the previous calls said, but he kept track of the most recent one, and that call translated to the phrase, "Time is ticking. I've had my fun. Now it's time for revenge." November 1st, Friday Night SmackDown. This is the SmackDown right before Crown Jewel, and Styles is really on edge. He arrives at SmackDown halfway through the show and is very spooked out. Nick Aldis goes up to him asking why he's late, and Styles does not care, walks right by him. When it's time for the contract signing of the match, Shinsuke makes his entrance as usual, and he feels fine. Through Shinsuke's perspective, he's ready to make a fool out of Styles. He's ready to get revenge on Styles for making Shinsuke look like a psycho on national TV. Shinsuke is also looking to right the wrongs of their 2018 feud. Shinsuke never got a single pay-per-view win over Styles despite their feud lasting 4 pay-per-views. Styles does eventually walk out to the ring for the contract signing without doing his normal entrance. His music hits and he speed walks to the ring. He gets in the ring, signs the contract, and tries to leave the ring. Nick Aldis asks Styles whether or not everything is okay, and Styles shoves Aldis out of the way. Styles exclaims that he has to be with his family because he has no idea what this anonymous person is going to do, or when he's going to do it, or who he's going to do it to. Styles didn't even acknowledge Shinsuke in the ring. Everything else was too important for Styles. Shinsuke lets AJ get backstage before signing the contract. Shinsuke then gets up and walks to the back as well. Nick Aldis is pleasantly surprised that the contract signing ended without chaos. Little did he know the chaos would only move backstage. Styles was approaching his car in the parking lot, which had his wife in the driver's seat and with the car on. Styles was prepared to get out of that arena as soon as possible. Shinsuke was having none of it. Just when Styles was only a few yards away from his car, Shinsuke came out of nowhere with a Kinshasa to the spine, sending Styles crashing onto the driver's door of the car. Shinsuke bent down to Styles and said, "You've embarrassed me. You've slandered my name, and now you've disrespected me as the human I am. Tomorrow, I get revenge for everything." It is time for Crown Jewel. Shinsuke and AJ have another chance to put on the banger people hoped they would put on at WrestleMania 34. Toward the end of the match, Styles has a chair in his hand. Shinsuke is on his knees begging for mercy. Styles gets closer to Shinsuke and he is about to let that chair rip. Just before Styles pulls the trigger, Shinsuke goes for a low blow. Styles lifts his leg up and hops out of the way, evading the low blow. Shinsuke has a hysterical laugh about it. Shinsuke even face palms himself. Shinsuke looks at Styles and yells, "You've embarrassed me again, AJ Styles. It's finally my turn." He tells Styles to turn around by putting his finger in a circular motion. There's a guy in the ring wearing all black. He has a black hood on and he's wearing a ski mask along with eye black. This anonymous man is holding the most recent letter sent to AJ's home out in front of him with 2 hands. Styles looks like he's seen a real ghost. Styles rips the letter out of his hand and rips it up. Styles blindly attacks the man. Shinsuke pulls Styles off of the guy. Styles has complete blind rage at the moment. Shinsuke forearms the back of Styles and pushes Styles towards the man in all black. black. This anonymous man hits a colossal coloss on Styles. The man perches Styles up just enough so he can get the back of his head kneed off by Shinsuke. Shinsuke wins the match. The masked man reveals himself to be Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaja, right there after the no-holds-barred match. Yes, it's weird for Jinder and Shinsuke to be working together after the way their WWE World Championship feud went, but this is not at all the same Shinsuke from 2017. This is Shinsuke wanting something done, Jinder having a deep hatred for someone, and both of them having a common goal. They both feel the roots to all their problems currently lead to AJ Styles and the losses they suffered at the hands of AJ Styles all those years ago. Jinder remembers life before that traumatic night in Manchester. Shinsuke remembers how much people loved him before WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. They both claim both of their lives were so much better before AJ Styles. Jinder Mahal even goes as far as to cite therapy sessions about this. On the following SmackDown after Crown Jewel, Shinsuke says honestly that he didn't know Jinder was the person harassing Styles when he saw the letter on October 11th. Shinsuke was being truthful when he said he had an idea of who it could be. Shinsuke's initial idea was wrong, and he was probably speaking with a little too much conviction anyways, considering the circumstances of the situation. After the October 11th encounter with the letter, Shinsuke called 3 people. He called Arn Anderson because Shinsuke thought Arn Anderson was crazy enough to harass Styles because of how Styles treated Cody Rhodes. Shinsuke called LA Knight and got the same answer Knight gave Styles. Shinsuke also says he called Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe has been the only person to even show any sort of crazy tendencies such as verbally and mentally attacking the family of AJ Styles. But again, Samoa Joe will do it to your face. He will also do it to Wendy's face. Shinsuke thought Samoa Joe could do it again. Shinsuke then claimed he thought about calling Shane McMahon to inquire, but instead he landed on Jinder Mahal. Shinsuke says when he thought about Jinder Mahal, everything started to make sense to Shinsuke. From the word choice in the letter to wanting to stay anonymous throughout this portion of the process. Shinsuke also admits that he wasn't going to do anything about what he knew until the back and forth he had with AJ Styles on October 18th in the ring. Shinsuke wanted to know who the person was, not to catch them, but to work with them in achieving those goals. Shinsuke couldn't care less about his past with Jinder Mahal. This was strictly business. Jinder Mahal is back in this hypothetical universe. What do you think? What other weird wrestling scenarios should get booked?